Talk about counting your lucky stars, eh? Talk about connecting the dots that should not have even been connected. We are building constellations out of the outer parts of the universe here, baby, because today we are taking a few ideas and just kind of connecting them in a little bit that might seem a little bit triggering to some because we've been making videos about this guy the past few days. Now it's Vancouver's turn. But before we introduce the subject, we have to introduce the context. Vancouver Canucks GM Patrik Allvin announced yesterday, this was yesterday's news, I waited a little bit to talk about this, that development coach and goaltending coach of the Abbotsford Canucks, Marco Torenius, has been promoted to the goaltending coach of the Vancouver Canucks. Current head goalie coach and director of goaltending Ian Clark asked for a new position with the team and will now work as a goalie scout and goaltending development coach. So, this kind of had a few people panicking yesterday when it was released. It was, August 21st, 8 a.m., so yesterday, about 24 hours ago, because Ian Clark has been mostly known as the guy that has really allowed Vancouver goaltending to prosper over the past few years. Thatcher Demko, Jacob Markstrom, even bleeding into what was a fantastic showcase out of Artur Silayev, not to mention the few extra guys that had inserted themselves into the lineup over the years. You had a great performance out of Spencer Martin. You had a few extra guys thrown in there. Maybe some better than others. Braden Holtby wasn't too great. Jaro Halak wasn't fantastic. But for the most part, I feel like most Canucks fans will attribute Markstrom, Thatcher Demko, and now Artur Silayev's success to Ian Clark. And a lot of this also carried over into discourse about these guys after they left Vancouver. Hey, there was an argument about how Jacob Markstrom was wishy-washy, he was up and down when he was away from Ian Clark. There were a few extra guys that you could debate actually did suffer away from Clark too, and that has been a pretty recurring theme. Even Casey DeSmith, the backup last year, was pretty alright under Ian Clark. So when it was announced that Clark and his position with the Vancouver Canucks would change, a lot of fans were kind of freaking out. Hey, what does this mean? Are they losing out on this guy? Well, no, Ian Clark now is still going to be with the team, but as a goalie scout. So when it comes to the goaltenders at the Vancouver Canucks draft in the upcoming NHL Entry Drafts, Ian Clark will have a direct say in whom those guys are. He also will be working with the goaltenders and the prospects into helping them become better players. So there could be seen a very good opportunity for long-term prosperity with this move. Subsequently, the Canucks needed a new goaltending coach of the main team, and that is going to be Marco Torenius, former goaltending coach of the Abbey Canucks and development coach. Now, you could go out there and bring out your speculation as to why Ian Clark might have asked for some time off or maybe asked for a different role with the team. People are saying, oh, he might want more time with his family. Maybe he doesn't want as much responsibility. Who really knows? Ian Clark is great, but the thing is with Marco Torenius, he just isn't Ian Clark, at least not yet. So there's going to be a little bit of a working through process for Canucks fans to really familiarize themselves with Torenius, but you also had yourselves this from Canucks Watch, going out there and saying this, number one, wishing Ian Clark all the best as he takes a step back to a different role, and number two, Marco Torenius was handpicked by Ian Clark to join a couple of years ago, and he has an impressive track record. We will be fine. Let's go Canucks, and congrats to Marco Torenius. Included is an excerpt from an article, I believe this is from The Province, based off of the font. I might be incorrect about that, though, so please don't crucify me in the comments. Little scouting report on Marco Torenius. He had been the goalie coach at SKA St. Petersburg for 6 of the last 7 seasons, coaching New York Rangers star Igor Shesterkin, while the 21-22 Vezina Trophy winner was playing in St. Petersburg until 2019. Other NHL goalies that Torenius has coached in the past include Ville Husso, Joonas Korpisalo, Koskinen, Kevin Lankinen. He has also worked with top goalie prospects like Nashville's Yaroslav Askarov and Carolina's Pyotr Kochetkov. With this in mind, you can already connect the dots. Let's go out there and read a tweet by Noah Strang. New Canucks goalie coach Marco Torenius was the director of goaltending for SKA St. Petersburg from 2014 to 2022. Yaroslav Askarov was the team's goalie from 2019 to 2022, and he's now on the trade block. Could a reunion make sense if Thatcher Demko's injury is worse than initially expected? Could the Vancouver Canucks go out there and make some sort of a trade for Yaroslav Askarov? Now, we've been talking about this dude the past few days. San Jose, Carolina, Montreal, Toronto. A whole bunch of other teams have been tossed into the mix here as Yaroslav Askarov trade destinations. If you needed a scoop, though, he is one of the best goaltending prospects on the planet, 11th overall pick in the 2020 draft by the Nashville Predators. But because the Preds signed UC Saros to an 8-year extension, and they also ended up making another signing for the goaltenders, oh boy, the guy's not coming to my mind right now. Who was it that they re-signed? It was, Scott Wedgwood. That's who it was. Yeah, Scott Wedgwood. They signed Scott Wedgwood. They re-signed UC Saros. Big money deal. And Yaroslav Askarov, I mean, he already said it. He's not reporting to the AHL. He's straight up projecting that he wants out. The Preds are going to have to find a partner to tango with, because Yaroslav Askarov is on the block. Now, he could be a very legit 60-65 game Vezina-winning, multiple-time Vezina-winning, caliber goaltender in the next few years or so. He could follow up in that Ilya Sorokin, Igor Shesterkin mold. It's very well possible. The thing is, though, he's only 22 years old right now, and he has only played a total of, 3 NHL games? It's not great right now if you wanted to say that he's definitively an NHL guy, but I think a lot of people would say, hey, based off of the talent profile, based off of the AHL stint, based off of the limited NHL stint, this guy could be a backup in the NHL next season, and he wouldn't look out of place. Sure, it's difficult to fully put your faith behind a guy who has had such a small sample size at the National Hockey League, but Askarov has been very good in the AHL, so if there's anybody to give that chance to, why not him? The thing is, though, there are some replies to this Noah Strang tweet that go out there and ask, you really would start a season with 2 goalies, Artur Silovs and Askarov, that have a combined total of 19 games NHL experience? Silov's second rounder? Stop it, you're crazy. Then you had yourselves Sap, my buddy Sap, going out there and asking what assets did the Canucks have to make an Askarov trade work? Villander or Karamaki, most likely, 1-for-1 prospect swap, or a small ad from the Canucks side. And that is, I think, a little bit fair here, considering the magnitude of talent that Yaroslav Askarov projects to being. I do think it's possible if the Vancouver Canucks and Patrick Allvin wanted to make this happen. Plus, if they're going to be in the market for a goaltender because Demko's going to be out for a while, why not give yourselves the best option available? Not saying that Askarov is going to be Vezina caliber material right now, but I am saying if you wanted to go out there and get yourselves a backup, I mean, would Askarov really be that much worse than some middling 30-year-old guy who's probably only going to play 20 games a year? I don't know, it's just a thought, I guess, but I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of a Yaroslav Askarov trade to the Vancouver Canucks? Considering the promotion of Marko Torenius, the guy that coached Askarov with SKA, do you think this kind of an acquisition would be appropriate for the team in Van? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.